vitamin C. Let me know if you're an orange juice or apple juice person. I feel like there's very key differences, and it tells what kind of person you are. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, hello, welcome to the channel. We're continuing this driving series because I find it to be the most interesting. I just went on a road trip to pick up my new car, which let me know if y'all want a tour. We drove cross country, and as you know, I'm from Texas, and our average speed is 70 miles per hour to 80 miles per hour. I know y'all use kilometers. I don't know the calculation to change that. Anyways, 70 to 80. But for the rest of the country, I've noticed in the north, the max speed is like 50 to 60. It was terrible. And so that got me thinking, how does driving differ, I guess, in the rest of America, but also in Europe? Like, I know y'all have a bunch of roundabouts, which are honestly, roundabouts are very scary to me because with a four-way intersection, at least you know you stop and like you have time to think. A roundabout, you just gotta go and hope for the best and hope no one else is coming behind you to hit you. But I'm getting off topic. Today we're talking about why driving in Europe is better than driving in America. Honestly, I don't see how, because y'all have those small roads, you got roundabouts. I don't really see the comparison, but apparently it's better in Europe. So subscribe if you're new here, like the video, help your girl get to 10K over on Instagram, because that is my #1 social media goal, and I'll really appreciate that if you go follow me. And let's get into driving in Europe. When I was in Europe, I didn't drive. I mainly took the bus, or I Ubered or Lyfted everywhere. So next time I come back, maybe I'll get a rental if it really is giving, like I'll say it is. Let's see. Where's the audio? There we go. Why driving in Europe is better than driving in America. Better drive. And why Europeans are better drivers? The disrespect. Excuse you. Okay. Ooh, it's from an American's perspective.
I love driving.
Same.
And I especially love driving in Europe.
And driving
I've been living
fast.
in Europe for about 2 years now, originally from Orlando, Florida.
Well, that answers part of my question right there. Homie's from Florida. They are literally notorious and known in America as the shittiest drivers and the weirdest people. So, I mean, homie's from Florida. It's not starting off very good for him.
I've lived in Amsterdam for about 2 years now.
Love Amsterdam.
Amsterdam isn't exactly a car place, but I've always been a car person.
Shout out to Utrecht.
I've always loved driving. What I like about living in Europe is that European drivers are excellent, especially compared to American drivers.
Okay.
I was
How?
inspired for this video after watching a video by Tedward, which I'll link in the description below.
Okay.
In his video, he was explaining why Americans don't
BMW.
use a 3-lane highway correctly. And it got me thinking how much I appreciate driving in Europe.
3-way highway. Slow people get to the right, fast people get to the left. People who are like in the middle stay in the middle. How much more complicated does it get than that? Why American highways are so slow and dangerous. Okay, I agree in the north because I just experienced it. Why am I going 50 miles per hour on the highway? 4-lane road going 50. Ridiculous. But in Texas, buddy, you can go from 70 miles per hour to 90. And even if you're going 90, there's some big truck coming behind you that's like, get out the way. So I think it just depends where you are.
European drivers are some of the best I've seen,
Okay.
and I think some of the best in the world. And I'm hoping to explain why I believe so in this video.
I can see
Now, I
it.
haven't done any research. This is just my experience. So,
Okay.
having lived in Europe for 2 years,
Let's
you
get
don't
into
need a
it.
car. You don't need to drive anywhere.
And that makes me
Public
jealous of y'all.
transportation is well established. You can use a train, a metro, a tram.
Like, the fact that you legit can just walk to your grocery store, jealous. And the fact that you get like this scenic, beautiful Victorian or Roman, wherever you live, like you just have beautiful scenery and architecture. That is just something I can't get in America. And that makes me jealous. The fact that like, instead of I have to drive everywhere. I don't have a choice. Up where I live, I'm about 30 minutes from the nearest train station. And so I would have to drive to the train station and then get on the train to get into the city if I wanted to do that. But at that point, I might as well just, unless there's traffic, but I might as well just drive the whole way. But yeah, the lifestyle, I think, in Europe, I I am so jealous of. The cobblestone roads, the beautiful architecture, just the convenience of like a healthier lifestyle. Except for the drinking. Y'all drink too much.
To get pretty much anywhere you need to go. You can use public transportation to get pretty much anywhere, so you don't really need to drive. Only if you live in more suburban parts of Europe, but even then, public transportation is still available.
Wow. Even in the suburbs
So
of the country.
Europeans don't have to drive. They want to drive. And because they want to drive, they put more effort into it. On top of that, getting a driver's license in most European countries is a much more involved and expensive process.
No, because y'all have been telling me, Favour, we don't just give licenses out to the riffraff like y'all do in America. And I was like, what do you mean? Because to me, you have to get your permit, and you have to take a class for that. You have to go into the office and take a test. You get your permit, right? And then like 3 months later, you either take another class, and then you go for your road test, and you have to back up 100 feet. You've got to parallel park. You've got to be able to yield and get on the highway, use your blinker, all that good stuff. But it's like you take 2 tests to be like a full licensed driver. And then to get different licenses, like for that big truck on the screen, or for a semi-truck, or motorcycle, there's different levels that you also have to test for. So it's not just like you get a license, everyone get a license. Like there's different steps you have to take. Like, and I already found that pretty hard. So how much harder could it be in Europe? This may get rid of my dreams of driving in Europe then, because what the heck?
For example, in the Netherlands, getting a driver's license can cost a couple €1,000 because...
Bitch, you can keep it. What? So on top of paying for your car, on top of paying for insurance, I now have to pay thousands just to get the stupid plastic? How many of y'all are driving illegally without paying this fine? Because I know some of you are. Because, like, imagine the poor people. They don't have... Well, then they're taking the bus anyway. But what if you're, like, immune compromised and you can't get on the bus and be around a bunch of people? You need a car. You gotta pay thousands just to get your license?
Because you have to do mandatory driving lessons. On top of that, the age to get a driver's license is much older than most
16.
in the U.S.
16.
So I believe in the Netherlands
15.
you can start learning to drive around 16 and a half years old. That's
Yeah.
when you do your theory test and then you start doing driving lessons. You don't have a full driver's license without restrictions until you're 18 years old.
Whoa. 18? That's when you're like a full-blown adult in America. 15, you get your permit. 16, you get your driver's license. And you can drive anywhere you want. You have to wait till you're 18? Then do you have to wait to work until you're 18?
Compared to Florida, where I'm from, you start driving at 15. You do your theory test, and you start driving at 15. And you only have to have a learner's permit for 1 year. And there's no mandatory driving lessons. Your parents can teach you how to drive.
Yeah.
On
You
top
can literally
of that,
watch it on
the
YouTube,
cost
how to drive.
In general, for driving is much lower. Cost of getting a driver's license is much lower in the U.S.
It's like $30.
And driving is kind of a necessity in a lot of parts of the United States, except for major metropolitan cities.
Exactly.
You have to drive. So getting a driver's license is less of a privilege in the U.S. and more of a necessity.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, now that he explains it, it makes sense why it's more expensive over there. Because like us, we don't... Like, you have to have your license, like he just said, unless you're in, like, New York City or Chicago, big places that public transportation is readily available. But, like me, for instance, where I'm in my small town in Texas, I need my car. But for y'all, like he said, you have buses, you have trains, you have all these different avenues of transportation. You don't need your license. So that's why they make it a privilege and make it so expensive. I would still rather have my driver's license, though.
So that distinction
What made
alone,
you get
I
your
think,
license? Let me know.
contributes to a lot of the differences that I'm going to point out. So getting a driver's license is a much more involved process, especially in countries like the Netherlands. In Germany, it also requires mandatory lessons. It costs a lot of money. So when they invest that much into getting a driver's license, they don't want to lose it. They
Exactly.
want to learn to drive properly. They learn the right rules of the road. They don't want to do anything to jeopardize that.
Smart.
And they drive accordingly.
Good. I like that.
You can see here in this example, I'm just outside of Amsterdam. There's
But it's going a
nobody
bit
cruising
fast.
in the left lane. I'm driving at 5:30 in the afternoon right now.
No, because that's similar here, though. The only people who do that dumb stuff is people who are from out of state. Like, in Texas, again, we have the 4 or 5 lane highway, and everyone's going at least 70 miles per hour. But yet, you still see the people with the license plates, Ohio, Oklahoma, Arkansas, just hogging the passing lane. And I guess because, again, in these states, the speed limit is like 50 and everyone's just chill about driving. They don't understand, though, when you come to Texas, it's an open speedway. This is a racetrack. Move. They don't understand that. So I like that everybody, I guess maybe even people from out of country, like from different countries, understand that unspoken rule. The left lane is for passing. If you're not passing anyone, get out of the way. I like that.
Now, nobody is cruising in the left lane. The left lane is only for passing. You can see how people use the lanes. They're very well disciplined.
I like that.
And that's a common theme. They're well disciplined drivers. This goes back to how they learn to drive. They have to take mandatory lessons. Their parents aren't teaching them to drive.
That was so nice. And once you pass someone, you start merging towards the right. That's another big thing you see over here, though. If they're not in the far left lane, they're in the lane next over it, and people are passing them on the right. Like, if you're getting... And it's so annoying, because you just move. Get over to the right. I don't understand. Oh, and luxury. Y'all have all the luxuries. Free healthcare, free education, good drivers. It's unfair.
Parents aren't passing on bad habits about driving. They're learning the proper rules of the road. They're executing them while they learn to drive. So even though you take a theory test in the US on what the rules of the road are, you don't really remember that. You remember what you learned while you were learning to drive. And oftentimes that's from what your parents taught you. And that's not the case in Europe. You'll see here the highway just widened up and people immediately start moving to the right. Not everybody, but most people do.
Like that guy.
Nobody's fighting. Nobody's rushing. They're just following the rules. They're well disciplined. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody follows every rule. You can see there are some more aggressive drivers sometimes, but it's not the norm. And even the more aggressive ones tend to get on their way, get out of the way. They're not messing with anybody. They're not pissing anybody off. There's no real road rage. So discipline is one of those key important attributes.
But I think part of that also goes into just like the lifestyle y'all have. Like, y'all got, I don't want to say easy living, but y'all got it much better off than us. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, I'm always in a rush to get everywhere because I feel like I just need to do something. I need to go somewhere. I need to, like, I'm always just in a rush with life. Whereas y'all, it's like, chill. I don't need health insurance. My government will take care of it. Oh, I want a better education and higher income, better minimum wage. Don't worry. It's very blissful in Europe. Whereas here, it's like you got to fight for anything and everything you want. That's how it feels anyway. So maybe that's also like key factor into the better driving. Like, y'all aren't in a rush to get to where you're going and to just, I don't know, propel yourself down the line.
The next thing is the roads in general. The roads are well maintained. I'm going off of what I've seen in the Netherlands and Germany. Not every European country has the same privilege.
Another thing, a lot of the cars I'm seeing are so small, but then you got this big ass Tesla X or whatever the heck it's called. Like, that thing looks weird driving next to everybody else. Like the small cars versus the huge cars.
I've seen some pretty poor roads in countries like Belgium.
Why are you coming for Belgium like that?
In Italy,
Brussels
roads aren't as nice. But you can see here the highway is well maintained. There are no potholes. It's quite wide.
What about cobblestone?
People use the lanes correctly. So even though there's a lot of lanes, it allows for a lot of capacity because people actually follow the rules of the road.
Everyone's using their blinker too.
They only pass on the left.
Even
they pass and then they get back over. And that's the general way it works here. So when they add more lanes, when the highway is wider, it allows for much more free-flowing traffic, a lot more capacity, a lot more cars. Unlike places like Houston where they added lanes, nobody follows
Him mentioning Houston just gave me PTSD. Even driving in New York City wasn't as bad as driving in Houston, Texas. There's like 5-6 lanes, yet every single one has traffic. Why? There's construction every day, all day. They're still not done after years. I don't understand. Potholes. The exit, it says it's right there, it's not right there on the GPS. All of a sudden, you've passed it, and it's making you do a U-turn. Who maintains y'all's roads? Who's in charge of like the construction and maintenance of it? Again, is this the government taxes thing? Because there you go. That would explain why. Once again, But again, I want to get back to the blinker thing because that's not a thing here. People in BMWs, Mercedes, all these foreign car brands, they don't use their blinker. They think they're too good to use their blinker, I guess, in America. But I'm noticing every single person, when they want to merge or move, in this video at least, they're all using the blinker. I can appreciate that because it's better than just getting cut off randomly and like not you have to all of a sudden adjust your car. I like that.
Proper rules there, so they continue to sit in the left lane, even if it's 16 lanes wide, and it doesn't help the traffic situation at all. In this area, this is a speed-controlled area, so it's actually controlled by average speed cameras.
Oh.
I'll deep dive into that in a separate video, but the Netherlands has some...
I was noticing because one said 90, 90, 90, 90. Now this one says 70, 90, 95. So each lane has its own speed limit and it's adjusted by the flow of traffic? Y'all are on some futuristic shit. What the heck? And again, the car brands. There's that little lion looking thing. Okay. We're going to make a part 2 to this video, and there's going to be like a whole series about this. Because now I'm interested in the miles per hour changing, and also all these different car brands. Because you're not seeing Toyotas. You saw a couple Teslas and Mercedes and BMW, which makes sense because those are European car brands. But what's the Diamond? Renault? What's more? I want to know more about that. What's the Lion? Volvo I saw Fiats. Like, what are the major car brands that are present in Europe? I want to know more about that. So make sure let's get 600 likes on this video for more roadway content in Europe, because where are the cobblestones too? That's something we got to check out. And just let me know what other content you want down below. And make sure you follow me on Instagram because I'm trying to get to 10K. But I hope you guys are enjoying this video and I'm glad to be back with you. And I just hope you're looking forward to the next one. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one though. Bye.